Alright, you begin the process by filling a scoop of feed and placing it in the bucket. You want to always do that first because the goats are funny. They come running when you let them in. So, Bronson's going to grab one of them, and here they come. Obviously no problem getting them to come to the shed. You might need to whistle for them in the morning if they're not waiting at the gate. So in she goes, and she will go right up on the stanchion. And then you lock her in by pushing this board over, then popping this in here to hold her in place. The jars are over on the shelf over here. You take a jar, and inside right here the attachment is hanging on the side of the cupboard, so we keep it to dry. This is the pumping attachment. Little bucket right there that you can set it on, and then the tube that doesn't have an end on it goes in the end of this piece here. This is the blow off so that there isn't too much section, and you use it. You put your thumb on it like that to keep the section from getting too heavy. Over here on the wall, we have just a cable that you can, a power cord, and we just use that to turn it on, otherwise it stays always on. There's a pressure valve right here that is not that big of a deal, but you really don't want the pressure to go over 15 to 20. But if you're using the little catch valve on the cord, that usually is not a problem. On the end of the other end, we have a little suction cup that looks like this, and this is what you use to put on the teat. Now before putting that on the teat, you want to take the Solidumel, spray a rag and or the teat really, really well, and you wipe. Now this is an empty milk sack because she's actually already been milked this morning, but you want to wipe them really, really good and pull on them so that you get all the hair off and that sort of thing. The trash bag is just an old goat feed bag, and you can put it there. And Bronson's going to wipe again just to make sure it's good and dry. And you take that, holding that in one hand and placing the syringe thing over the teat. You just start to milk. You hold up high and squeeze over the top. Then it catches the milk and pulls it down through. Now if you watch here, Bronson is using the valve to allow not quite so much pressure to build up. So when you hold your thumb on it, that pulls more milk, but every so often he lets it go. The milk goes in the tube, comes down and through, and drops into the jar, like so. And that is the process, and you just keep going. About halfway through, you can stop, and you can jiggle the bag really well. So and you'll be really rough with it. It gets her milk to let down. It's simulating a baby, like pounding at her bag with its nose, and that allows her to let it down. So they're done. Usually you'll get one full jar out of one goat, and there'll probably be a little bit more, but you can just save the 2 full jars, and then we'll have one extra quart jar down here to keep the rest, and you can just dump that. And so you can tell when the sack is empty. It's been about an hour, 2 hours since she was milked, so there is some milk in there today. Obviously, he's getting that. Now Neela, who is the one with the red collar, has had a little bit of an issue this year with a little bit of blood in her milk. And so you have to keep an eye on it coming out. The blood comes out of her left teat looking at her from this direction. And,
No, right teat.
oh, I'm sorry. The right teat looking at her, so the one that's on right now. So if the blood, you want to milk one side at a time, and if it looks pinkish, then you can toss it. It actually doesn't hurt to drink it, but it's, yeah, most people would rather not. So, anyways, so you pop, when they're done, you just pop the little bar out of the top. Bronson, can you redo that? So that's not. And out they go. Sometimes they're a little bit stubborn going out, but usually it's not a problem. But feel free to manhandle them. And that's the process.